Hey everybody, this is Thor Young with Bear Bull Traders, and I'd like to do a recap for you on my trades today. Today was a crazy day today in the market. I mean, really hard, lots of chop to start off the day, and kind of the way I got around most of it was I actually didn't trade very much. I've actually been kind of coming off the opening ranges lately. I grab, I'll do like one stab, and if it doesn't work, I'll just sit back and wait and see what's going on. So, actually wasn't on any of my lists or anything, but after I couldn't really find anything working, I was just looking around like 10:30 for something to get into, and then I realized Zoom had just been great, strong all day. So I really wanted to get a nice entry on it, and I thought this would be a nice example of how I used my point of control on my volume by price to get an entry. I tried to do an add in for another move down off of a short I took a little bit later, which I'll show you that. But I'm going to get stopped out on that ad, it looks like now. So, that's absolutely fine. I was down pretty heavy on the shares, so I was just trying to extend the trade a little bit. But I knew there was a good chance. Zoom's really strong today, so I figured I couldn't get much more out of it. So Zoom here had a great open, launched up great, then it came up here and it had started to consolidate and had a really, set up a really high volume area right here. So very interesting stuff, right? And with that high volume, I was really just looking to see what was going on. And as Zoom started to narrow and get closer, let me move over to my 1 minute chart. Oops, sorry about that. Let me do this. Let me pop this chart out. So you'll notice here we started to consolidate here at this area, and we were kind of forming an ascending triangle to the top, which a lot of you know ascending triangles is one of my favorite things to go after, and this is a perfect example. So as we're consolidating here and making an ascending triangle, one thing that I found to be interesting is it came up here and it made this new high, so I got long. But the reason I went long is I saw a large ask appear up here in the top on the L2. So I mean, it was a really large ask. So especially for Zoom, it was out of place large, right? So I saw that order came out, and I must have seen the same thing somebody else saw, because as soon as I went in and I took my order, it was about the next bar, and look at the increase in volume that came out, and then it ran right up through that seller and just smashed right through it, and I took this partial up here on that. So, and it was just a crazy strong move up to the top side, and I got great partials all the way up to 152, just shy of. And then it came back here, and I tried to do an ad for another move up, but it came back and eventually stopped me out. And so I have two instances here. You're going to see another one where the ad hasn't worked for me today, and it just shows how choppy and how there's been a lack of follow through in the market today. So we tried this ad here partial, but now look, after I got stopped out here, it came back up, rolled over, and then I had a moving average cross to the downside. Really like these to show reversal indicators. So really shouldn't have even done this ad, but it really looked like it was going to hold this level and move up. But it came down here, stopped me out, came back up, and then it was holding the averages, started to top. It had a lack of momentum, so I went ahead and took a short there. There we go, just stopped out of that. Got a really nice breakdown, and then partials all the way to VWAP. So played Zoom both ways today on relatively light shares. I mean, made a few $100 trading the stock today, which is great, but didn't have to take a lot of risks to do it. I think 150 shares to start here, and about 200 shares on my short. And then I had a little bit different of a mentality too. I talk about in choppy markets, one thing you can do, I call it putting your scalper's hat on, which is basically go back to that small account mentality where you don't trade for the big moves as much. So for instance, I took this position here. Once it broke up and got a nice move, I went ahead and dropped 50 of my 150 shares, between these two partials. So I was down a full third of my position before I, just with a nice break up. But that locked me in really nice, gave me some good profit. And then I took big partials here. By the time I got up to 152, I was already down to about 10%, 20% of my account of my position, which is why I was willing to do such an early ad for a stop out. That showed the weakness, so I went short. Good in here, and now we're actually consolidating potentially for another move up. That's just how fun Zoom's been today. But as you can see, had a really great day, pretty easy to control Zoom. We always talk about the main thing to do to keep from getting really beat up on market days like this is look for the catalysts. Try to find the stocks that are moving contrary to the market, that are doing something a little bit different. SPY's been chopping up and down and having all kinds of issues today, but Zoom just had a nice move up. A little spready, so we had to manage the shares a little different, but otherwise, great stock to trade. So hope this was valuable for you guys. I hope you all had a great day and keep it green. Thanks.